Good morning, America. Welcome to a presentation by Church of All Faiths Under God. My name is Reverend Stuart Lovett, and it is wonderful to be with you. I have an interesting topic to discuss. Came to me this morning. The words divine gag order came to mind. Divine gag order? What could that be? Have you ever heard of a gag order? It's something that's usually done by a judge in a courtroom. It's imposed upon everyone. There's to be no discussion, to be no influence, to be put forth to manipulate, to influence the jury. Pretty heavy duty thing. And I was thinking about that. I was thinking about, wow, that's amazing that the judge, our court system, actually realizes the value of being silent, of being still. You've heard of be still and know? Now let's think about this in a larger context. We live in a world which has gotten pretty darn noisy. A lot of people saying a lot of things. Look at the political arenas. Look at the arena of your home, and your family, your relationships. Look at the relationship you have with yourself. Do you know what stillness is? Not many people do. I hope you do. I find stillness to be one of the most valuable things in my life. You know, it's interesting. We think that the human mind thinks it actually knows something. Well, it knows a few things, I suppose. But what does it really know? Think of all the variables, all the parts of the real puzzle of life. It's completely intrinsic. It's larger. It's infinitely large with its components. When you stop and think about it, doesn't it kind of suggest that we don't know? It actually might suggest that we don't even have to know. People go, wait a minute, I have to know something. I have to know the answer. I have to know what to do. I have to know if that's right, if it's wrong. Well, there is some of that, I suppose, but the real truth does not come on that basis. It comes through being still. It comes through letting things unfold, letting things unfold. Well, he said this, she said that. Do you agree about this thing? I'm not sure I like what they said over there. People say a lot of things. You know, it's interesting. Many years ago, before I put one of these babies on, my white collar, I was a bodyguard. I'm ex-military and I was a martial artist. I'm a martial artist. I was a bodyguard. I was a bodyguard for some pretty important people at one time. And I remember going down to Mulberry Street in Little Italy, New York City. And then I would see a lot of stuff. I'd see, congressional aides and senatorial whatevers, people that were attached to the big dogs, the decision makers, the people who create legislation. And I won't even tell you what I saw and heard. But I'll tell you one thing. Honestly, it took me 20 years to go vote after I experienced that as a young man. 20 years! Because you think you know what's going on. You don't know. You think you know what you hear in the news, you hear this, you hear that. We've come to a place in this world that we're in where the agendas are so overlapping that it obscures the real truth. What's the truth? Be still and know. I spend my time working on me, working on these capacities of mind and heart, spirit, mind, and heart. And it's about, for me, it's about letting go, detaching from things. Realizing that, guess what? I don't know. I can know. I can know. We all can know in the present moment, in the present instant, by being still. But what do you know? You think you know about the situation overseas? Do you think you know about what's happened next door next door to you? You think you know what's going on in the mind and heart of another person? Most really don't know. It's hard to know that. It's hard to know that. Have you heard the expression, don't judge a man or a woman till you've walked in their shoes? That's a biggie. We're at a place in this world where changes are afoot. Huge changes. Some of you are aware, most of you are aware that the Mayan calendar ends on December 21st of this year. What does that mean? There are lots of schools of thought, but I'll tell you what I believe. I'll tell you what I believe I know. Believe you know. That's stretching knowing you. What do we know? Just bear with me here. Have you heard of the X flares coming from the sun? Let me tell you something. You can Google this, guys. Going back to 1859, there was something called the Carrington effect, the Carrington solar flares. There was a man by the name of Carrington that discovered that these solar flares that were M-class flares came to the Earth. And you know what happened? These flares were strong enough to melt the copper wiring that was actually the thickness of our pinkies. This is what we used in the country to channel the electricity. It melted. The copper wiring melted. You know the train tracks, you know the trestles, the wood between the trestles, caught on fire. 1859. Google it and check me out. Make sure I'm right on this. Well, get ready for this one. Beginning this month, September. We're in September 2012. About mid-September. Actually, it's right now. We're in the space. X flares are being emitted from the sun of a larger magnitude, and it's going to increase. The magnitude of the X flares are going to increase. Now, X flares are about don't quote me on this one. I'm not sure if it's actually like 1,000 times more powerful. It's many times more powerful than the M-class flares. What do you think is going to happen when the magnitude gets to be like 14, 17, whatever, however they measure X flares? Lights are going out. The electricity is going to go out on the Earth. Oh yeah, sure, Stuart. Reverend Stuart, do you know? You're a minister. How do you know this? There are people who do know these things that are scientists, that I have faith in and believe what they say. You're not hearing a lot about it on the news. The government does know about this, but you're not hearing about it. You're hearing about checkpoints being set up in different parts of the United States of America. We're moving into a time, guys, where there's going to be martial law at some point. When the electricity goes off, there are a lot of parts to that. It'll affect our lives at multiple levels. I'm not trying to scare you, but you know, we have 104 nuclear reactors in this country alone. 104 nuclear reactors. You know what happened in Fukushima in Japan, right? Not a good thing. Well, when the electricity goes off, which by the way is the way that the rods are cooled in every single nuclear plant, every nuclear reactor. The rods are cooled down by that. If you can't cool the rods down, if you can't get the water, if you can't pump the water in with electric pumps to cool it down, they're not going to work. Now, it's interesting with the Solar X flares because it's not like they only affect this, they'll only affect this component over here or this wiring. It's in effect all the wiring. How much effect? We don't know exactly because we haven't been through this before yet. This is the first time. Of course, now we had the M-class flares back in 1859. Again, what do you think might happen with flares that are many times more powerful? Just think about that. The Mayan calendar ends December 21st, 2012, as I said. The Mayans are also aware that a comet is coming into our solar system, a big comet the size of a really big planet. Okay? This is going to affect our world. Our world is moving, the planet Earth is actually moving into the center of the galaxy. This is a major thing. This will change things energetically. You may see, not may see, you're going to see that even the laws of physics alter what we call facts, what was the foundation of our sciences. It's all going to be changing. You know, I'm not a doctor. I don't have a PhD. I'm not a scientist. I'm a minister. I'm a healer. But these things are important that I'm sharing with you. Please do some research. Check it out. Take steps to protect your lives, your families, your loved ones. There's a man who's, if you can Google this name, Major Ed Dames. He's done a lot of work on this in these areas with the X flares, with the solar flares. He knows a lot about it, and he has a lot of experts surrounding him. You can go to www.thekillshot.com and you can learn a lot. It's not time to freak out. It's time to be still. It's time for a divine gag order to go in place so that we really get present. We really listen to each other. We care for one another. And we stop splitting hairs and saying, I can't believe you said this, you're bad, you're this, you're that. It's not time for that. It's time for that to end. It's time for us to just appreciate each other and be grateful for each other. It's in the heart, guys. The truth of love is in your heart. Let that out. You know, there's certain things in life we're not supposed to be tolerating. We're supposed to say, that's it. I'm not a doormat. Stop walking over me. And then there's other things that we need to be more tolerant of. Tolerance comes when you become still. Knowing comes when you become still. Look at all the earthquakes. Look at the major storms. Look at the increase of the intensity of the storms. It's going to continue. It's going to grow in intensity. This is part of the effect of where we are going, our planet, the movement in the center of the galaxy, photon clouds coming to the Earth. A lot of changes. Do you feel it? I think you feel it. I feel it. Do you feel the intensification? You go, oh my gosh, I don't even know why I'm feeling this. You know, my partner and I both find ourselves in tears sometimes. We say, I don't know why I'm feeling this, but I'm feeling an awful lot. It's okay to feel things, guys. Don't attach it to things and blame. Just let it pass. Take responsibility for your lives. Don't let the government tell you what to do. The government is your government. The government is here to serve the people. You're the people. Remember that. I remember many years ago, it was shortly after the tremendous Hurricane Katrina. And I was watching this news broadcast, and this newscaster went around he was looking at everything, and he was asking people, how do you think, what do you think, how do you feel? Everybody's going, oh my God, oh my God. And he finally walked up to this little girl, and he said, excuse me, hi, what do you think about what's going on here? And the little girl said, well, it's tough, and I can see it's really tough what's going on. But you know what? The people are working together. It's so nice that people are actually helping each other and working together. That, my friends, is what's been missing. You know, life comes in, and they bring life brings its own gag order. It's a gag order, call it a gag order from God. There's going to be a bunch of them. It comes in the form of earthquakes, and hurricanes, and tornadoes, and storms. This is what I call a divine gag order. Hush, be still, and know. Hold the hand next to you and care for that heart, care for that mind and heart, care for that being, care for yourself. Let's care for each other. I thank you for joining me on this beautiful Sunday. I'm sitting here in Branford, Connecticut, where I live. And this message is going to you wherever you are. May God bless you. May God keep you safe. And may God allow you the wisdom to realize how important it is to be still and know. Thank you.